All right, it's Monday morning. I've recorded in probably a week and a half. Today, welcome back to Morning Mumbles with Donnie DD214. I know it's a little loud. It's been raining this morning, so I guess my Jeep decided to be extra loud with the top this morning, or just in general. But today we're going to talk about Manic Monday, if that's what you want to call it, bloody Black Monday or whatever. So the stock market is already futures down, which means that they're projecting, obviously, the stock market to be down or Bloody Monday. Is that what they called it? Bloody Monday, sorry. Um, yeah, so it's pretty bad. You can already see but again, it was bad Thursday and Friday as well. So we're kind of looking at, 3 day, who knows what this correction is going to be. Is it going to lead to a recession? I don't know. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Please do not buy or sell or trade or do anything that I say in this video. This is just my own um, thoughts. Anyways, yeah, right now, due to the tariff talk and all that stuff, well, the tariff's actually starting. Yeah, the market has been bloody. That's the easiest way to say it. Today will probably be the third day. How much, how much money can we lose? How much can stocks drop? I don't know. I mean, that's a tough question. If you look back to March 2020, that was probably one of the biggest corrections in the last few years. I guess I wasn't super in the market. I got back in the market probably the worst time in the world. 2022 there was a market correction. March 2020 with COVID was huge. I remember buying and selling that day. You could literally buy puts for like a month and just keep making money. Like, it was crazy when you could buy like Carnival Cruise just going down to the bottom. I think it went from like 100 down to like 29 or something. It was crazy. So yeah, not only that, not only the stock market crashing, the crypto market's crashing too, which is crazy. Considering they seemed decoupled last week, they were correcting, but not nearly as bad as the stock market. Some really good stocks are at a discount right now. Dell, I think, had a high of like 149 last year. I think currently it's at like $68 pre-market. AMD is like at $80. There's a company called, I think it's Restoration Hardware. I never really heard of them, but I always think of RH as Robinhood, but that's not the stock ticker for Robinhood. But you look at them, and their stock is crazy. Apparently, like, it's an upscale, like something to do with home furnishings or something, and a home builder. I don't know. But anyways, they import most of their stuff. So their shares went from $450 like a couple months ago. I think within 5 months, from $450 to $123 low. Like, that's insane. Talk about picking up a discount if you're really into that. Almost everything's on a discount right now. You got to look at like the undervalued stocks and start picking them up. If you have a high risk tolerance. Some other things we want to talk about is, like, don't panic sell. If you're up on a stock and you're looking for an exit point and you just don't want to be in the market for long, like, I can see if you're up on a stock selling. As long as you cognitively think about it. If you're currently down, depending on how much you're down and how much you need your money, I would say hold. But again, that's something for you and your financial advisor to discuss. Um, yeah, but the old saying, if you don't sell, you haven't really lost. I think something really important to remember is, like, do you have conviction in your buys? Like, some of my buys are probably shit. I don't think a lot. I think I've done a lot better this year in buying better stocks, looking at things that are undervalued and all that stuff. But some are shit, and if that's the case, maybe it's a good time to hop out. I remember what the one stock that got me out of the stock market, like, for the last couple of years, was Polestar. It was a SPAC. SPACs were huge from like 2020 to like 2022, 2021, probably 21. And, that was one of the last SPACs that I've really looked at. And that thing went from $10, which is how SPACs normally start, special purpose acquisition companies, to like $13, and would have been a decent sell, 30%. That would have been nice. And then over the next year and a half, that shit just crashed. It went down to like $1.50. I don't even know which is crazy because like it was actually a legit company that was partially owned by Volvo, like an EV company. Everybody's gonna be driving EVs. Turns out not. Anyways, back to Manic Monday. I guess talking about stocks and crypto, like, do you have conviction in what you hold? What is the intrinsic? What's the extrinsic value? Why do you hold it? Do you really believe it's going to revolutionize something? Or it's a solid company. Like maybe you own McDonald's and you're like, McDonald's isn't going anywhere. That's a strong enough conviction. Maybe you believe in Tesla and maybe you own Tesla. Like that's number one EV company in the world. Like that's conviction. It's kind of like your why, your purpose, whatever. Why do you hold this stock? And if that's the case, then you have to, today ends up bloody, then, look at your conviction and look at, upside, the pros and cons of selling today. Like, it's never really wise to sell on a red day. I mean, a lot of people do it. And that's something that took me like, gosh, 7, 8, 9 years. I can't remember I think it's been like 7 or 8 years in the market that you're just like hold. Even if you're down like 20 or 30%, what if there's a huge correction over the next 6 months and you end up on top? Who knows, right? I think one big thing that we always forget about though is that the market and the dollar are highly inflated right now. So a correction like this was probably due for a while. Actually, it is due for a while. But the tariffs, if you look at them long term, I'm not going to get into politics about this, but if you look at the tariffs, countries have been charging us tariffs for probably 20, 30 years, and we don't charge them tariffs on our stuff. So that is, a trade imbalance if you look at it like that, yeah, especially considering that America is essentially just a consumer largely versus a producer. How we were in the 50s, 60s, the early industrial revolution. We were a hardworking society with probably the biggest production. Henry Ford created that shit. Like, then a huge part of the industrial revolution. The assembly line for cars, like that shit came from Henry Ford. So we got to remember that. We got to get back to that kind of thing. Don't make any crazy things today. If you buy, buy when there's blood in the streets. Buy when others are fearful. Today may be a good time to buy if you can find something that you've been wanting to buy for a long time. What I've been noticing is buying like Thursday and Friday, that I'm literally trying to buy falling knives, if you know what that means. It means essentially that the market hasn't bottomed out or reached an equilibrium. So it might not be smart to buy today, but you're also dollar cost averaging if you're already in something. And if you look at something that's, you've been wanting to buy for a long time and it's at a 50% discount already, like, what's your conviction? So I think I'll keep this one reasonably short today, but just be wise and really think about your decisions today. Like, it might be a good time to buy, it might be a good time to hold, it might not be a good day to sell. I don't know, but each person has to do their own shit. So think about it and make wise decisions. Have a great day.